Hey guys, what's going on? Well, I have some bad news, and from the title and everything, you can tell it's not an S2000 video. However, I got an interesting text message the other day, and it's great news because, well, this thing really needs a lot of work. It's crazy to think that I've actually owned this car now for, I think, 6 years. I bought it in July of 2019, maybe August. I can't really recall. Backstory, I bought one that was a complete hunk of garbage, and I was buying parts, and through buying parts, I ended up meeting my friend Andrew, and he pretty much, after a couple trips to him, was like, you just need to buy a better car. This one is a piece of junk, and there's no reason to keep it. Part it out, cut it up, get rid of it, and get a different one. Yeah, he talked me into getting this one, which is, I'm always forever grateful for, but at the same time, Corrado ownership does not come for the faint of heart, if you will, because they definitely are a labor of love to own, and I could see why a lot of them fell to disrepair. Now, at first glance, just like a lot of people, you might think, wow, Luke, car's really nice. What are your complaints? Well, I don't have any complaints. The car actually is pretty nice comparatively to a lot of them that I've seen. There are some very, very nice ones out there. And, but it does have its problems. And a few have just reared their ugly head recently. One of which is this. Sunroof stuck open and doesn't want to shut. And then at almost the same exact time, this happened. Yeah. Yeah, that's not fun. And then just some stupid stuff like this valve cover. It was a chrome plated valve cover, and these castings are terrible to begin with. And well, I had it powder coated, and as you could tell, this is called gassing out in the powder coating world. And I just kind of ripped a chunk of it off because it was a huge bubble. That, and then if you come down here, you can see, maybe not that easily, it doesn't want to focus, it's too dark, but it's a little wet down there, and that's because I had the head replaced with a built head. So it does have cams, valve springs, 1 millimeter over valves, and it doesn't want to really seal properly. So it's been taken apart twice and put back together, and it still is having those issues, which is more common than not for it to leak on this side. But however, if you look in the back, I believe it was seeping back there as well. So more than a couple issues there. And then the other big issue is on the inside of the car. The heater core completely died and no longer has hot air, no longer has heat, and the air conditioning doesn't work in this car either. So, certain other things, like this is notorious for cracking, falling apart, and just falling all over the place. So I ended up taking it all off. I do have replacements for it. I just haven't put them on because I very much contemplated, at the very least, having the underside of this painted. Just because even when you put it on, it does have a small portion, as you can kind of see where this white is sort of where you can still see. So even if I put the new stuff on, you're still going to have this ugly looking stuff around it. And because of parts availability for these cars, I don't really want to put it on there and be disappointed. I'd rather do it right the first time. So this thing does need a lot in that world. It really does, because it's not an easy task, and there is very few people that know how to work on them and make them work right. Now, my buddy Malcolm has done a lot of work on this car for me, and but he does have a shop that does regular maintenance on cars. That's his bread and butter and his moneymaker. So, where do you take this to get fixed? How about the guy I bought it off of? So he texted me and said he's got some availability finally, And that's huge because I really didn't drive this car this summer because of racing, but also because there was a few issues. Obviously, not having air conditioning is not the most ideal. But the other thing was, you know, the door did end up going, the sunroof stayed open. It's got a draw somewhere, so the battery dies quite often. So every single time I went to go hop in it, it really was sort of like aggravating that it didn't work. And then there's some stuff on the inside I'd really like to, you know, take care of as well. It does have a gray interior. You can kind of see the sunroof cover does fall down on this, but more importantly, it's tan and it's kind of ugly. I did want to do some work on the inside of this car at some point as well. So since we're not building any crazy cars in the off season, I figured maybe get this thing prepped and ready to go. I mean, the S2000 is turning into quite the mess. I'll post a picture right now so you can see what I'm talking about. It's just a teaser. Don't worry, we are not scrapping the project. We are saving the car, and it's gonna be unbelievable, but it really is taking a turn, as most cars do. So I figured I'd let you guys know. I think that's pretty cool. Just a reminder of this car because it hasn't been on the channel in a while. And also for those of you that don't remember, this car does have Mark IV big brake kit on it. Obviously it's got the built head, the intake and exhaust. Nothing crazy, and that's what makes this car so good. It's so much fun to drive. It's actually one of my favorite cars to drive because it's not overpowered. It feels amazing on the road. And, you know, it's got brand new coilovers on it, right-ish around the time the car, I purchased it. Most of the suspension components have been replaced. New clutch. I mean, there's been a lot of work that's gone into this car, but it just needs a little bit more to get it over the edge. I never want this car to be perfect because at the end of the day, I really enjoy driving it, and there's something to be said about an imperfect car and driving it because you don't feel as bad. And this is a very honest version of the car. It has been resprayed, and you can see there's a couple of paint imperfections, you know, and there's a crack or a chip in the windshield. I actually do have a brand new windshield for this car. However, why replace it if it's only got a chip? I just wanted one in stock, if you will, for if there does come a day where this thing needs it. So this car does need a new battery to even get going, but I'm excited to say this car is going to get some love again, and that's awesome. So I figured I'd give you a little bit of a update on what's going on, and maybe we can, you know, see the progress of this car as well this upcoming year. So thanks guys for sticking around. I really appreciate it. I'm excited. This is one of my babies, a car that I hopefully will never have to part ways with, but really enjoy it, and welcome for the ride on the Corrado Part 17 million. Have a good one, guys. I'll talk to you.